Hi there, and welcome once again to In Conversations with the Canary Wharf Multi-Faith Chaplaincy. My name is Moshe Freedman.
And I'm Ibrahim, Mogra.
And I'm Fiona Stewart-Darling.
And this time we're going to be discussing the concept of loving one's neighbour. This is part of the Edinburgh Finance Declaration, which was launched in October 2018, looking at shared values framework for ethical finance. One of the fascinating things about loving one's neighbour is that it is absolutely fundamental to all three Abrahamic faiths. And one of the things I love about this is that it's something that we have so much in common about. In fact, the idea of loving one's neighbour comes directly from the Hebrew scriptures, which discusses the idea of loving one's neighbour but also loving God. And I think the reason for that is that we're all created in the image of God, no matter who we are, whatever we practice. And the key thing is that as long as we can recognise the image of God in other people, whether they're like us or different to us, we'll find that ability to love other people as well.
Absolutely. And when I think of Muslim scripture, I find that the yardstick that we are given to measure the strength of our faith and the level of our faith is how we care for the neighbour. So Muhammad, peace be on him, said that you cannot be a true and a proper believer if you and your family go to bed well fed whilst your neighbours go hungry. So it's absolutely critical that we care for our neighbours, and you care for them when you develop a love for them. And that's very important.
And I think in Christianity, one of the things that we're reminded of our scriptures too is it's all very well to talk about loving God, but if we don't love our neighbour, then actually how can we say that we love God?
Absolutely. I think it's also fascinating. We often sort of focus on the spiritual lack in others and we take care of our own physical needs. But actually it should be the other way around. We should judge our own spiritual lacks and sort of look to improve ourselves and care about the physical needs of other people, and that shows a real love for others.
Well, I think it does, but and one of the things, we live in this globalised world, and so one of the big questions is actually who is my neighbour?
Right.
Yes.
We live in a world where there's marriages across continents of people, so families are all over the world. We have globalised companies. So actually the answer is who's my neighbour? My neighbour used to be easy. The person who lived next door, the person I work with. Now it's very different.
Interesting. The Quran actually uses the words the near neighbour and the distant neighbour. So I find it really fascinating. In a globalized world, like you said, Fiona, we are all just one big village and everyone's our neighbour.
Very much so, and with social media, of course, the phenomenal advent of social media, we can all be neighbours with people across the world. But the danger is, of course, is that we associate, once again, with people who are only like us, and that we find it's very easy to love people who share our views and share our political views or religious views, but trying to love people who might have different views to us or challenge us is a much harder thing to do.
It is, and Professor David Ford, who used to be Regis Professor at Cambridge, had this great saying and said, we need to learn to improve the quality of our disagreements. It doesn't mean that we can't disagree. Of course we're going to disagree, but actually it's how we disagree that's important. How do we disagree in love, if you like?
So thank you so much for dropping in, and we look forward to you dropping in once again for In Conversations with the Canary Wharf Multi-Faith Chaplaincy.